The vault was 2 floors underground. It was protected by a magnetic field, a seismic sensor, heat detectors, and a lock with 100 million combinations. It was considered the most secure room on the entire planet. But on February 15, 2003, a group of thieves walked in, took $100 million in diamonds, and walked out without tripping a single alarm. The police had 0 leads, no fingerprints, no footage, nothing, until they found a half-eaten sandwich in a ditch nearby. This is the story of the perfect crime that was ruined by a piece of salami. To understand why this heist stunned the world, you have to understand the target. The Antwerp Diamond Center in Belgium isn't just a bank. It is the beating heart of the global diamond trade. 80% of the world's rough diamonds pass through these 3 city blocks. The turnover is $54 billion a year. That amount of money requires military-grade security. The vault is literally a fortress. It has a 3-ton steel door that can survive a bomb blast. It has a magnetic seal that triggers an alarm if the doors open even a millimeter. Inside, there are motion detectors, infrared heat sensors, and light sensors. And just in case you somehow get past all of that, the floor has seismic sensors. If you walk too heavy, the alarm goes off. If you drop a tool, the alarm goes off. It was designed to be unbeatable. But the people who built it forgot one thing. They built a system to stop criminals. They didn't build a system to stop a genius. The architect and the crew. Leonardo Notarbartolo was not your average thug. He was a charmer, a businessman. He was part of a loose network of Italian thieves known as the School of Turin. Leonardo didn't storm the building with guns. He rented an office there. 2 years before the robbery, he set himself up as a legitimate diamond merchant. He wore nice suits. He bought coffee for the security guards. He learned their names, their shifts, and their habits. He was inside the belly of the beast, and nobody suspected a thing. But Leonardo was just the face. He needed a team of specialists to handle the tech. He recruited a crew that sounds like it came straight out of a movie script. First, there was the genius, a specialist in alarm systems who could disable electronics without cutting wires. Then the monster, a giant of a man who could pick any lock and handle the heavy lifting. And finally, the king of keys, an old-school forger who could replicate any key just by looking at a photograph of it. They met in abandoned warehouses and cheap apartments in Italy. They built a full-scale replica of the vault door to practice. They ran drills again and again until they could do it blindfolded. They knew exactly how many steps it took to get from the elevator to the vault. They knew how long the guards took to eat their lunch. They planned for every single variable, except for one: human error. The impossible night. On the night of the heist, the city was distracted. It was the weekend of a major tennis tournament. The streets were quiet. Leonardo stayed outside in a getaway car listening to a police scanner while his team went to work. They entered the building through a private garage using a cloned pass card. Now they faced the sensors. This is where the genius comes in. How do you beat a magnetic door alarm? You don't break it, you trick it. The team used a custom-made strip of aluminum to tape over the magnets. The system thought the door was still closed, even when they swung it open. Next, the motion detectors. The genius simply covered the sensors with styrofoam boxes. But the heat sensor was the real problem. It detects the body heat of anyone entering the room. Their solution was ridiculously simple: hairspray. They sprayed a cloud of women's hairspray over the sensor. The mist created a temporary film that blinded the sensor just long enough for them to slide past. Finally, the light sensors. They simply used black tape. One by one, they dismantled millions of dollars of security technology using household items you can buy at a supermarket. They were in. The vault was filled with safety deposit boxes. They didn't have time to open them all. They had to be fast. They used a specialized drill to pop the locks on the most promising boxes. Diamonds, gold bars, cash, watches. They stuffed everything into duffel bags. They were standing in a sea of wealth. But adrenaline is a dangerous drug. In their rush, they started making a mess. They dropped papers, they left trash, and that sloppiness was the beginning of the end. The mistake and the getaway. They worked until 5 a.m. They had looted over $100 million worth of goods. They hauled the heavy bags back up the stairs, past the blinded sensors, and out to the waiting car. Leonardo drove them to an apartment to split the loot. They were ecstatic. They had pulled off the heist of the century. But then panic set in. They had garbage bags full of incriminating evidence, maps, half-eaten food, and the receipts for the tools they used. Leonardo told the monster to burn the garbage bags. It was a simple order: burn everything, destroy the evidence. But the monster was lazy, or maybe he was just tired. Instead of burning the bags, he drove into a small forest near the highway and just threw them into a ditch. This was the fatal flaw, the one variable they couldn't plan for: laziness. A local property owner found the trash the next day. He thought it was just illegal dumping by teenagers. He called the police to complain about the litter. When the police opened the bags, they didn't find beer cans. They found envelopes stamped with Antwerp Diamond Center. They found a receipt for a video surveillance system purchased by Leonardo Notarbartolo, and they found a half-eaten salami sandwich. The mystery remains. The DNA on the sandwich matched one of the team members. The receipt led straight to Leonardo. The police arrested him, and eventually most of the crew. It was a slam-dunk case. Leonardo was sentenced to 10 years in prison. But here is the twist that keeps experts awake at night. The police recovered the trash. They recovered the tools. They caught the bad guys, but they never found the diamonds. To this day, the vast majority of the $100 million loot is missing. Leonardo served his time and was released. He claims the heist was actually an insurance fraud setup, and that the vault was already half empty when they got there. Is he lying? Probably. So somewhere out there, hidden in a field or buried under a floorboard, is a fortune in diamonds waiting to be found. The perfect crime wasn't stopped by the police, it was stopped by a sandwich. But the thieves might have gotten the last laugh at all.